In this video, traders, I'm going to talk about trading plan versus trading strategy. What on earth is the difference? Stick around. Hey guys, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this channel. So trading plan versus trading strategy. I want to outline some of the differences, key differences between strategy. Okay, so this is my take on it. I think this is the right way of looking at stuff. A plan outlines everything about your trading. So this is a broad picture and it takes into account things like your risk. It takes into account things like the markets you trade. It can take into account like the hours that you trade, the time you put into study. It takes into account the trading strategies you deploy. It also takes into account the focus area you're working on, just some of the things that you'd have in this plan. So you do have the strategies in the plan, but they are not the plan. They are separate. So you've got your plan, you say, right, I am a DAX trader, for example. I trade the DAX between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. and between 2:30 and 4:30. And I risk X amount per trade, X amount per day, X amount per week. I use these four strategies. I use this VWAP magnet trade, the opening range breakout trade, and the closing drive trade. Those are my strategies. Now, then you have other stuff like your focus area and other bits and pieces you want to add on it. But the strategies are just the headlines, the name of the strategy. Now you look at that strategy and almost like it expands, and hopefully this tool is going to do this for you. It expands and you go, right, now I've got the depth of this strategy. Now I've got the intricacies of the strategy. It's a separate thing. So you'll have different trading strategies to deploy at different times and different markets. And within that is all the details of the strategy. So the description of what the strategy is. It's a mean reversal trading strategy used around midday using the VWAP as a guide, for example. Then you would have things like, okay, what are my filtering criteria? Well, I trade this when we're at the edge of a zone, when we have this looking on the daily chart, when my indicators are at this level, this, that, the other, fine. What is my trigger entry? Oh, I like to see a bullish engulfing candlestick. I like to see a doji, whatever it may be. There's your triggers. What are my stops? What are my targets? How do I decide how much to risk on this trade? When do I decide whether to scale on this trade? All the intricacies of that strategy, so that it's a very, very distinct document. The title of that goes into the trading plan, but the trading plan itself doesn't contain that. Otherwise, it becomes huge because you want to put the detail in, find a detail of the strategies, you want to put screenshots, you want to put all this other stuff, and you want to really detail out how this strategy works and tweak it, adjust it for different nuances and subtleties, and that's quite a big document. So that shouldn't really be your plan. Your plan is like, hey, it's a one page, it's a plan, it's an approach, it's the way I'm doing things, but if I need to dig in a little bit further, then I'm going to do this. Maybe there's some checklists on your plan, like, hey, I do a pre-market checklist, a post-market checklist, a journaling checklist. That then is a separate document. So you've got to have a few things to do trading. I think the trap that people fall into is they try to put everything in this plan, and you've not got enough detail in the strategies because you're trying to got this, otherwise it's just 20, 50 pages long. And so you kind of just write a few things as strategies. So you're not quite clear on the strategies, you lose confidence, you don't pull the trigger, you pull the trigger too soon, you pull the trigger too late, you're second guessing things, you're over trading because you haven't got the confidence in the strategy, partly because you've got to put a loose strategy in your plan and it's not the depth that's required. Whereas if you just got a one title, in the plan, it's a VWAP magnet trade, it's an opening range breakout trade, it's a range break trade, whatever you call your strategy, and then there's a massive, lovely depth about the intricacies of the strategy and how you operate on that, and not necessarily in a logical way. It's like, okay, here's my filtering process, here's my trigger, and I've got 10% of flexibility to trade with intuition, however you do that. So plan to me is outlining everything about your trading. It's the risk, it's this, it's that, the other. It doesn't include your trading strategies. They're in there, but they're in depth separately elsewhere. I think that's a good way of operating because your plan may change from week to week. You might say, hey, we're in a trending environment now. I'm trading this trending strategy, this trending strategy, and this strategy's volatility breakout strategy. You might adjust. And so some of the broad things are going to be the same. Maybe the risk isn't, maybe go, hey, this is a great environment, I'm going to increase my risk. And so that risk goes in your plan. Hey, I'm risking twice as much this time now. What's my circuit breaker? What's this? What's that? What's the other? And so think of it distinctly, or having the distinction, should I say, between the strategy and the plan, I think is key. I'll see you next one. Take care. Bye-bye.